been in a very rough place over the past few years, and just a few weeks ago, we found out that in Pokemon Go, they were going to be turning the female character avatars androgynous, and now that
Yeah, I heard about that, and I thought like, cause before this happened, there was backlash like against it. So I thought maybe they would like not do it or something like that, but I guess they still just went with it.
update is finally rolling out in places like the United States, people are talking about it, and they are furious. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into
Also, notice the tweet. Trainers, your avatar can look even more like you. We're excited to announce that new avatar customization options are now live in Pokemon Go. So I do think it's funny that every time like something like this happens, like every time they want to be like, oh, this character looks more realistic now. It's always uglier. Like it's never realistic and the person ends up being attractive. It's like realistic and they're ugly or uglier than they were before.
the topic. If you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, we actually initially heard about this 3 weeks ago. I did a video on it. It will be linked down below, but here is the article from then. It says Pokemon Go fans are livid as Avatar update nerfed women, and this is the crux of the.
And it's very interesting that updates like this only seem to affect women really. Like the men, as far as I know, haven't gotten any worse than they were before. It's like it's only women. So the thought of it being like DEI or like something like that, I think it's very reasonable to believe that.
The issue. It used to be that your characters slash your avatars would have slight
But there's another theory that you might talk about.
curves. We're not talking about characters being bombshells here, but you could tell that they had
They just widen. I mean, I wouldn't say they're fatter. They just like widen them. Like they're wide. Like like when Street Fighter first released, or like who's that guy from Star Wars? They're just wider. Oh yeah, and it seemed like it's flattened out a bit. Maybe it's because they're wider. It looks like different like this.
thinner waists, they had pretty nicely shaped legs. I mean, overall, they looked aesthetically pleasing, but then they decided to completely rid of that. The legs just look like planks. The midsections of female characters have absolutely no definition, and they basically decided that they were going to go for this brand new female character model that was pretty androgynous, and unfortunately, much of the gaming industry has been pushing the androgynous look over the past few years.
Yeah. So what I find interesting about this is like they could easily do this and keep the old designs, but they chose to take away the old designs that people like and force you to have these new designs, which happens in like all all forms of like censorship and stuff. Like they will specifically take away the previous designs and put in like their new censored designs. And this is, you know, it's the same, it's par for the course, happens every time. Because obviously everyone would just stick to the old designs. You know, that they would not be using the new ones. And if they just gave back the old designs, then this wouldn't even be a controversy, you know?
It's very.
But I know like the theory that like they're doing this so that the male and female costumes are you know, more aligned with each other, so they're like easier to make. They can just like you know, put the male costumes on like the female avatars and they'll be like exactly the same, just interchangeable. So like there's more space in like the crotch area, and like the chest is like flattened, so you know, like there's less discrepancy between the two. But I mean, because I feel like if that were the case, then I think the timing is very interesting, because as far as I know, they only decided to do this when Was it like a DEI like person? Like there's some like DEI company or something that got involved with them like recently, and then they decided to do this. I think the timing is very suspect.
Prominent in the
And also, why wouldn't they do it like before? Because Game Freak, it's not like they're known for being like hardworking or anything. Like they're known for being lazy in the first place. So they could have done this like years ago. You know, it's very interesting timing.
West, so people were pushed towards Japanese and Korean entertainment, but we have seen quite a few Japanese companies now embrace corporate DEI trends, and the Pokemon Company plus Niantic are definitely two of them. These companies need to start realizing by going in this direction, there's not an abundance of money headed their way, and all they're really doing is pushing consumers away because people are livid over these changes now. I mean, Pokemon Go launched in 2016, and only now are they making the changes. And of course, when you have already invested a lot of time and a lot of money into a game, you expect them to keep the product as close to the original launch as possible. Like, yes, they would be adding content and they would be.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's like if there's enough backlash, they'll reverse the decision because people already spend money and they don't want like a bunch of people to leave. So I feel like if there's enough backlash, then they kind of have to reverse it. Like it would be pretty crazy not to. But I mean, you never know. Cause a lot of things like this, they just keep it they just keep it in. So we'll see. Let me play again.
Fixing bugs and glitches and updating things, but aesthetically, you wouldn't expect them to do some massive overhaul, and that is what they are doing with the
So interesting question. What does this mean for the future Pokemon games? Like, will this be put into all the future Pokemon games? We don't know. But it is very concerning.
female character models. And of course, whenever a situation like this happens, there will be people who say, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but I completely disagree. Why would they make these changes in the first place? Companies only change things when they think they're a big deal, therefore, I'm allowed to.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point, and I would say that I think in a previous video I mentioned this. It's not a big deal if like one person litters because, you know, it's just that one person doing that. But we're seeing like a trend in the gaming industry where they're doing these kinds of things. So it's more like if everyone litters, then, you know, it becomes a big deal and everyone's doing something like this. You know, it's becoming a very common trend that doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. So that's why it's a big deal.
Think that this is a big deal, especially when they're taking a character that has feminine features and made the models look ridiculous and the new modern term, gender neutral. I am sick and tired of this fad ruining our entertainment, and I am not alone. Of course, they had posted this saying, trainers, your avatars can now look even more like you. We're excited to announce that.
Oh, that's quite the insult, honestly. Like everyone looks like ugly and it's not like the trainers were like supermodels or anything. They were just like normal looking people, you know. But they look more like you, so and they all just happen to look uglier. That's very funny.
The new avatar customization options are live in Pokemon Go, but unfortunately, that is not the case because if you are a woman and you have any sort of definition to your body, your avatar is not going to look like you. Savvy had said, who suggested this change and why to the anatomy? Why were the small indents on the women's hips adjusted at all? Why not add more variation options in clothing and hairstyles instead? Of course, because they're not worried about that. They're worried about following corporate DEI trends. Choices are good, but you made everyone the same, ugly and erased women. I totally and completely agree. I mean, all of the female character options now make
Body type blank. Oh man.
you look like a plank. It's so disappointing. I mean, look at this person saying, please.
Yeah, wow. The left looks so much better, honestly.
tell me how you think the new avatar looks better in any way. And this is, the curviest the new avatars can go. I mean, that is a
Yeah, and they put a lot of space on like the crotch and stuff. Make it more masculinized.
drastic difference. Even look at like the section below her hips. I mean, they brought that down so much. And it's not just the pants, it's just the way that the character model looks now. It
Yeah.
looks so ridiculous. I personally, as a woman, am sick and tired of seeing female character models altered and made to look like they are not women anymore. It's fine to add options where your character can look like a plank or look like a freaking whale if that's what you want your character to look like. But at the same time, I should be able to make my character look thin and lean and also curvaceous. That should not be some massively negative thing. And there is even a section on Twitter now under the Explore page saying unrealistic avatars in backlash the Pokemon Go update controversy. And there are hundreds to thousands of posts of people showing off the new avatars and how disappointed they are in it. Literally every Pokemon.
Man, yeah, it just looks so. Oh my god. So some of these I thought were fake. Like there's just like this fat one going around that kind of looks like that girl from Diamond and Pearl. I forgot her name. Like is that one real? And I don't even know.
Go post over the last 24 hours has felt like a funeral.
Or maybe she'll scroll to it.
Unreal, man. This is what happens when you go and you update a game, again, from 2016, where people already have invested thousands of hours and potentially even thousands of dollars into your game, and then you go and you make their characters look like freaking ugly planks. This is absolutely ridiculous. And when I had initially covered this a few weeks ago, we didn't know just how bad it was going to be. We knew that they were doing this update and we had seen some screenshots, but as it was just then being rolled out worldwide, in only specific regions very slowly, we didn't know the extent, but now we know, and it is bad. Now, of course, we do not know exactly how narrative consultation companies' work is implemented in games, but we do know that Niantic did work with Gamers X. They are a narrative consultation company that over the past few weeks has been
Maybe that was the company I was referring to.
talked about a lot. They offer developers to help them create more LGBTQIA plus inclusive games, workplaces, and events. They offer presentation integrating queer themes in games, workshop gender identity in the workplace, workshop community management strategies for supporting LGBT players, panel discussions over intersectional community building in games, sensitivity reading, marketing, social media, and promotional materials review, plus custom solutions. So again, we do not know exactly what they did with this game, but we do know that we can point the finger towards them at this point because they have partnered with the company behind Pokemon Go, and they have, it seems, worked on this game in some way, shape, or form. So it's unfortunate that this has happened. This
Yeah.
we are left with a game that is years old at this point, that is altered. An 8-year-old game that you might have invested a lot of time and money into is now completely changed. And instead of just leaving the way that the game was alone and adding options, they decided to take away options and force you to look like a plank in this game. It will be interesting to see over the next few days and few weeks if, anybody from Pokemon Go or the Pokemon Company or Niantic actually respond to this controversy.
Yeah, I'm very curious how they would respond to this.
Even walk it back. I personally don't think they'll.
Yeah, because usually they never walk back stuff like this, so we'll see.
Walk it back. back because that's just how companies are at this point. They've already made the change. They expect players to basically shut up and deal with it,
Yeah,
which is
sure.
a very unfortunate thing. And I would expect over the next couple of days people to threaten to boycott this game unless they change it. And they're getting completely ratioed. 4.6k comments, 1.3k reposts, and only 3.6k likes. So I will be keeping my eye on this situation. But if you are a Pokemon Go player, this is very unfortunate news for you. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this.
Yeah. Very unfortunate for Pokemon Go. Guess we'll see. I mean, we'll see if it they reverse it or not. It'll be very interesting to see. And we don't know if it was that company, they're called Gamers, just like that. Were they the reason? We don't know. But I feel like in a lot of these things, whenever like a company is like that is involved, like for example, the Sweet Baby Ink thing, like these things tend to happen. So that's why it's not like surprising. But yeah, I guess I will see you later. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. And yeah, I'll see you later. I mean, the next thing I'll probably do is the HSR 2.1 story. Gotta finish that. And yeah, I'll see you.